materials, we have erected a sorting and screening tent. And so this sorting and screening tent allows us to sort the material at the same time keeping workers and nearby residents and anybody in the area safe. So this is a sealed tent. It is contained. It contains all air. It has negative pressure, so no air goes out of this tent without being filtered. Workers inside do work under respirator and with coveralls on. So this is a sorting tent where all of the munitions are separated from the rad waste. Yeah, I think that's basically the explanation for that tent. Go ahead. Some pictures inside. Here's a look through the viewing plastic or the viewing window. Workers in coveralls. We have some equipment. This is the main piece of equipment. This is the only thing contaminated inside that tent. We dump the soil onto this table, sort the soil, pull out the rad objects. The material goes back into a B25 box. That B25 box will be shipped off at a later date. Rad objects will be placed with our other rad objects, shipped off at a later date. And any munitions scrap, which we have not found to date, but if in the event there was, that would be shipped off as a third waste disposal. Okay, moving on. Low level rad objects. So how many rad objects have we found to date? Just under 700. That number has actually climbed as of today. This presentation was put together a week ago, so we are now totaling over 700. I don't have the exact number, but when this presentation was put together last week, we had 699. As I mentioned, 88 from the two previous solid waste disposal areas. And then we have 10 so far coming out of the west side, which is mainly the boxes. That number, I know has climbed to 50 now, 50. So, and that numbers come from right about here, 1321. Okay. Oh, one other item I want to mention here. So, when in August we had some questions about the rad objects and how do we manage them. I want to give a snapshot here that what this is a few rows of the tracking sheet. Of course, this tracking sheet is much longer because we have 700 items, but this gives you an idea of how we track these items. They're given a unique identifying number. There's a description, detail where they're found, the activity on them. And this is all the information that is required for disposal. So this really gives us a tight control on all of the rad objects, every rad object that we have on site. This information is then passed off to the waste broker, and then they're able to dispose of it. Just an example of how in the field we categorize or identify and label these rad objects. So this is data that's gathered in the field. We have on-contact readings. We have readings at a foot. Gives a description of what they are. Gives a unique number, and then these are packaged, sent off to our storage area. And then, of course, an exclusion zone around that. All the items are rating 226 so far. As I mentioned before, there's no surprises with radionuclides. Dust and air monitoring. Basically a recap of what I brought up in the last two presentations. So again, two lines of defense. We have dust monitoring and we have high volume air monitoring. High volume air monitoring requires samples that go to a laboratory. Dust monitoring is real-time data logging, measures particulates in the air. So just some additional information. These are the two folks that we're looking for the regulations that govern this work. Here are a couple regulations from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. A couple links as well if folks want to go online and take a peek. And the important thing to note is we've just posted the second air monitoring report. There have been no exceedances to date. So no exceedances for dust and no exceedances with any of the laboratory chemicals. So Good news story. Next slide. Showed these last time. These are the two examples. So this is an air monitoring station, one that collects samples, and this is our real-time, we call them PDRs, but it's a personal data dust monitor is basically the way you can think of it. Weather station. Questions about when do we stop work? We stop work at 25 miles per hour or over. How do we know when it's 25 miles per hour or over? Because we have installed this weather station. So this weather station here, this is at Building 570, correct? Building 570. This is hooked to a computer, so we have a readout in the office there, and then it is programmed to alarm the superintendent or construction manager, whoever's on site will get an alarm. If in the event we exceed 25 miles per hour, he'll get a call on his cell phone and we will take the appropriate action at that point. So just an example of another precautionary measure we take in terms of dust and keeping the air clean. Activity schedule. This is going all the way out to July of 2016. January 2016 to July 2016. This has moved out a little bit. This is due to a contractual modification that was issued recently that includes that building 1235, as I've mentioned. So because that work can't commence until March, the project got scooted out a wee bit, a few months out to July 2016. So the notable changes here are 1235, as I just mentioned, and then also going back to that burn area at Bayside, we have 2,600 cubic yards of material to dig out under munitions control there. So that activity and that activity aren't going to begin until spring of next year. And then this is just a general message for folks in the public, just being respectful of our construction signs and more or less just being safe for yourself. This is really the message here. We find folks walking dogs, going fishing, whatever it might be. Want to pass the word on that it's important to recognize these signs, and we don't want somebody falling into our excavation. They are full of water. They would be hard to get out of. So this is something that we want to pass along for all the residents. And then that schedule of milestones, so this really focuses on 2016. Excavations were started in May, 5 months ago. Looks like they conclude about a year later. And we will continue to process the soil that comes out of those excavations. Looking at backfill around June of 2016. Waste disposal will happen the next month, and we look to wrap up the project with our reporting in July and August of next year. So that's when you'll start seeing final reports. And contact information, I think everybody has Keith's phone number and email, so there it is again. And Q&A time.
Okay, Chris, thank you.